1.
I'm going to start all over. Rebirth Blues.
If I paint Windermere on my apartment door like a Pennsylvania Dutch hex sign, will it keep the angel of death away? If I etch Magnolia on the Institute of Music, will the South rise again as Haitian angels sacrifice chickens to the music of Hindemith? If I scratch Scoville on Severance Hall, will Joe Orzel lose his temper and the cellos pop their strings in terrified ecstasy? I have a city to cover with lines, with textured words and the sweaty brick flesh images of a drunken, tied-up whorehouse cartoon sprawling and brawling on its back.
The key point in Levy, besides the intensity, is his awareness of awareness, and that it could get larger. He was a very permeating kind of a person. He didn't say very much. He would make an ironic remark or two, and which would be very funny, but it showed like an intense interest. And the poetry was very vivid and very beautiful. And he was interested in the ideas that I was interested in at the time, which was Zen and the possibility of spiritual freedom, the possibility of the artist making a culture or a poet, enhancing or even building a city.
I was 8, my brother was 9, and he was 10, and we were cousins. All the media attention saddened me because I felt that so much of it was just sensationalism. The essence of his message was lost, and for me that was a really sad experience.
That was the Renegade press. It was a teeny hand-set press. Everything was done by hand labor. You had to reverse the type. Each page was laid in, the handle was pulled, the page was taken out. And sometimes we got together and we all assisted in it. And we would, it was almost an atmosphere, a party atmosphere. But it was tremendously exciting to see the product just evolve right before your eyes.
Let's see, he got that machine. I forget where that machine came from. That printing press. And they never believed in putting copyrights. They never used to call it copy shit.
He got people's attention. It, I think, maybe turned out to be the wrong kind of attention. He wanted artistic attention, and he wasn't getting artistic attention, he was getting police attention.
He didn't promote him, really. People wanted to think that he was into drugs because a lot of people were into drugs, and they felt that they should get him on something. So the police tried that, but he was almost anti-drugs.
To be a poet in Cleveland put things in common. To be a poet in Cleveland was almost a radical act.
Only 10 blocks away, buildings burned, perhaps burning now. The August night broken by sniper fire, policemen bleeding in the streets. A sniper surrenders, perhaps out of ammunition, gun jammed. Someone said he was framed in a doorway like a picture, his hands in the air when they shot him.
He was the kind of guy, I think, that when you were with him, there was always this dichotomous reaction that you went through of, because he really was, you know, this kind of a wimp. Yeah. He had this list and everything, and yet there was this double pump reaction when you were, you know, with DA, of saying, geez, you know, what an unformidable person on the one hand, and on the other hand, if you knew him at all, after a while you began to, you know, listen to that lisp and get hooked on what was coming out of his mouth.
Listen, don't be afraid of death. They intend to murder you anyway. Don't be afraid to live. They intend to murder you anyway. The battlefield is in the mind. It's a different game. It's a different game. It's a different game. I'm not crazy. You have limited information. Perhaps I'm crazy.
He's ready to commit suicide, once every 2 months at least.
right there. He'd get very depressed, or he'd just get cosmically bored and want out. He'd want another turn of his wheel.
During the reading, D.A. read 2 poems written by 2 teenagers, which contained some classic 4-letter words. The county prosecutor at the time, John T. Corrigan, sought that as an opportunity to bring an indictment against D.A. for contributing to the delinquency of those 2 kids. As the judge set a $2,500 bond, and I felt as if I had just been auctioned off to the highest bidder. One political poet, soon dressed in Ivy League pinstriped overalls, laying on a bed in the poorly lighted county jail. Not waiting, going. No one seems to want to understand that not waiting. That day I made a direct call to death, and he answered.
And he surrendered himself. And of course we had already set some of the wheels in motion to try and get some funds raised to get him out, benefits, etc., etc. During one of the benefits, Allen Ginsberg came.
But all of a sudden the doors burst open, and about 50 policemen with big shiny leather boots and heavy crash helmets and big black coats and long black truncheons and guns all rushed into the room and said, "Everybody up against the wall, you're under arrest."
Well, son, I got brainwashed when I was a little kid, you know, as this Christian mythology. You know, I had the illusion that I had to be a martyr. My only difficulty has been because I decided to try and help other people by putting out the magazine.
To help what other people?
The city, the whole thing, the culture of Cleveland.
And so Levy was starting to wake us up to the fact that reality wasn't all it was cracked up to be, or what we thought it might be. That in fact reality might be something quite different from what you thought it was. This was a dangerous notion at the time.
You can take whatever of these poems you want, cut them up, hack them up, use whatever you can.
And he went about the business of conducting his own death in the same organized fashion that he did everything else.